Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about Form 8960 Net Investment Income Tax Individuals, Estates, Trusts. So generally Form 8960 is the IRS form used to calculate your total net investment income NII and determine how much of it may be subject to the 3.8% of Medicare contribution tax. Just having net investment income to report doesn't necessarily mean you will be subject to NIIT, net investment income tax. The additional tax only applies if your modified adjusted income or MAGI is over a certain amount. The IRS calls this a threshold, and the amount of this threshold depends on your filing status. For example, for the tax year. So guys, you can see this is a single page form and it has three parts, and we are going to discuss about the filing status for tax year 2020. If you file a joint return or use the qualifying widow or widower status, your MAGI as of publication date has to be more than $250,000. Number 2, if you are married but filing separately, your MAGI has to be more than $125,000. Number 3, single and head of household filers can report an MAGI of $200,000 or less. Your MAGI is a variation of the adjusted gross income AGI that's reported on the first page of your tax return form, though for most people the two amounts are the same. Now coming to the next point, which is figuring out your net investment income. Guys, before that, just have a quick look on the different parts of this form. Part 1, investment income. Part 2, investment expenses allocable to investment income and modification. Part 3, tax computation. So guys, in the part 1, you can see this part lists the various types of earnings considered. Investment income. Investment earnings commonly include interest, debenture, income from rental property, royalties, and profit you earn from trading stocks. So you can see the taxable interest, ordinary dividends, annuities, rental, real estate royalties, partnerships, S corporation, trust, etc. Adjustment for net income or loss derived in the ordinary course of a non-section 1411 trade or business. Now coming to 5A, net gain or loss from disposition of property. Net gain or loss from disposition property that is not subject to net investment income tax. Combines. So you have to combine line 5A through line 5C. Now line 7, adjustment to investment income for certain CFC and PFICs. See instruction. Other modifications to investment income. And now line number 8, finally total investment income. Combine 1, 2, 3, 4C, 5D, D, 6, 7 here. Now the question comes, when to file form 8960. If your MAGI is above the threshold amounts mentioned above, you may need to prepare Form 8960 to see what your net investment income is. If it turns out that your net investment income is 0 or less, you don't need to file the form with your taxes. If your net investment income is $1 or more, Form 8960 helps you to calculate the NIIT or net investment income tax you owe by multiplying the amount by which your MAGI exceeds the applicable threshold or your NII, net investment income, whichever is the smaller figure, by 3.8%. You then enter your NIIT tax liability on the appropriate line of your tax form and file Form 8960 with your return. Remember, when you use the software to prepare and file your taxes, you don't need to know a thing about the tax forms. Do any of this calculation on your own. The software will handle all the calculation, put all of your answers on the appropriate tax forms. Now coming to part 2, investment expenses allocable to investment income and modification. Come to line number 9, investment interest expenses. 9b, state, local and foreign income taxes. 9c, miscellaneous investment expenses. Coming to line 10, additional modifications. Line 11, total deductions and modifications. And part 3, tax computation. So whatever I have discussed, let's have a look in our software Drake. So guys, this is form 8960 net investment income tax. So if the threshold limit exceeds, only then 8960 form will generate in your tax return, otherwise not. Whatever the information you report, if that doesn't exceed, then it will not appear in the federal tax return. So you can see part 1, investment income, part 2, investment expenses allocable to investment income and modifications, and part 3, tax computation. So guys, you have to report here as per the information you have, then report everything on form 8960, and then you can see if the threshold limit exceeds, only then it will flow. Let's have a quick look. The modified adjusted gross income for MFJ in this return comes to 85,050. But as we know, if the threshold limit is more than $250,000, then only 8960 will flow to federal tax form. So whatever report you on 8960, nothing will appear on the federal income tax return. So it is just I am showing you the form in Drake software how it looks like, otherwise it has no use for now in this return purpose. So coming back to the 8960 net investment income tax and individual states and trust. So guys, I'm just repeating, form 8960 is the IRS form used to calculate your total net investment income NII and determine how much of it may be subjected to 3.8% of medical calculation contribution tax. So basically, when to use the form 8960, just having net investment income to report doesn't necessarily mean you will have to eligible to get NIIT tax. The additional tax only applies if your modified adjusted gross income or MAGI is over a certain amount. The IRS calls this a threshold, and the amount for the threshold depends on your filing status. For example, the tax at 2020, if you file a joint return or use the qualifying widow or widow status, your MAGI as of publication date has to be more than $250,000. If you are married but filing separate returns, your MAGI has to be more than $125,000. And if you are single, if you are filing single, head of household filers can report MAGI of $200,000 or less. Your MAGI is a variation of the adjusted gross income AGI that's reported on the first page of your tax return form, though for most people the two amounts are the same. Figuring out your net investment income. Part 1 of the form 8960, you can see the list of the various types of interest investment income, such as investment earnings, commonly include interest, dividends, income from rental properties, royalties, and the profit you earn from trading stocks. You can see interest, dividend, annuities, rental income, net gain or loss from disposition of property means capital gain, gain from that is not subject to net investment income tax. Part 2, subject to subtracts certain deductible investment related to expenses from the total investment. Here in the part 2 part, which discusses about the deductible investment related expenses from the total investment income reported in part 1. Deductible expenses cover the cost of hiring a financial advisor, brokerage fees, state and local income tax, and in some cases the interest you pay on funds you borrow to invest with. And part 3 calculates the tax computation part. For individual, there are you can see the different parts of line 12 for individual, line 17 estates and trusts. So this is line 21, net investment income tax for states and trusts multiplied 20% and 20 by 3.8%. Same you can see here for individual as well net investment income from the part 2. Subtract part 2 line 11 from part 1 line number 8, then you will get the net investment income here on line 12. You can also come to know when to file form 8960. If your MAGI is above the threshold amount mentioned above, you may need to prepare form 8960 to see what your net investment income is. If it turns out that your net investment income is 0 or less, you don't need to file the form with your taxes. If your net investment income is $1 or more, form 8960 helps you to calculate the net investment income tax you owe by multiplying the amount by which your MAGI exceeds the applicable threshold on your net investment income, whichever is a smaller figure, by 3.8%. You then enter your NIIT liability on the appropriate line of your tax form and file form 8960 with your return. Remember, when you use the software to prepare and file your taxes, you don't need to know a single thing about the form. All the calculation will be done by the software, and it will handle all the calculation and put all of your answers on the appropriate tax forms. Okay guys, so I believe you have understand. Goodbye.